with your permission, I'm going to go ahead and just declare our meeting. I'm going to call our meeting to order. And this is the Monday, October 26th regular meeting of the St. Joseph County Public Library. And I'd like to welcome everybody. First, our order of business, just to go ahead and for purposes of for the official minutes, I'd like to determine a quorum. So first, let me go ahead and I'll call the roll. And we're back to, I think we're doing this in reverse tonight. So Ann?
Here.
Okay, and Terry, is Terry joined? No. So, all right, so we'll wait for him. Christine?
Here.
Augie?
Here, and I did get the packet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes,
right.
and I did get the packet. Yes.
And I should have, yeah, Ann, you got your packet, and Christine?
I got my packet, yes.
Yes.
Good, and you were able to open it. Michelle, you here and you?
Here, and I got the packet.
Great. Marvin?
Here, and I got the packet. And
I'm here, and I got the packet as well. So we do have a quorum. The first, next order of business is consideration of the library board minutes for the meeting that was held on September 21st. And in the packet that we received on Friday for the minutes to that meeting. So first, are there any additions and corrections or clarifications for the minutes of our last meeting? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. Motion made, motion seconded. I'll call the roll. Ann?
Here.
Terry? Actually, that
I'm
might,
here. Aye. What?
Aye.
let's see here. Christine?
Aye.
Michelle?
Hi.
Marvin?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Now that Trensburg, that's not Terry, is it?
I think it is.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
So,
it's coming.
so Terry, when you pop in, we'll just wait for a second here. Terry, are you here?
Part of them is.
Okay, there he is over there.
Your virtual background has blocked your face.
And you need to set up your audio too.
He's just muted right now, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we can unmute him. I think he has to do that himself.
We're unmuted,
There we go.
but the background, I'm still the headless horseman. So give me a second.
Okay, so Terry, while you're doing that, you did receive your board packet, didn't you?
Have everything? Yes.
And since you're here, I'm going to go ahead and just declare we have a quorum. We have everybody here. And you vote, are you in favor of the, to approve the minutes of our September 21st meeting as well?
I am, yes.
Perfect. All right. Then the minutes are approved, and I'll turn it over to Deb for our director's report.
Okay, thank you. And the statistics report, I'm happy for this. It's September. I'm happy to report that some of our branches had an actual increase in print material circulation compared to 2019. Part of this, I think, is due to the fact that we were open more hours this September. We didn't close for a staff day this year, but it's still really an achievement in this pandemic. And with a 42% increase in digital materials, our overall borrowing looked really good last month. Curbside use is gradually dwindling, but we still served 730 patrons curbside last month. And with virus cases picking up in Indiana, we don't plan to eliminate that service for the foreseeable future. We'll still keep doing that. We were able to do some in-person programming in the form of outdoor events and the Boomer Tour ramp up to Jim Gill's performance in September. And then on page 8 of statistics, you'll see the Herculean effort from our tech services staff to do some of the final catch up on cataloging materials. When we reopened, we were 3 months behind. And this past month, they cataloged nearly 4,000 more physical items than last year. And we are right now caught up. At the end of the funding reports, Nancy included a third quarter comparison of expenses, and you'll see in the 100 accounts, which are the personnel lines, you can see we're underspending 2019 levels by $212,000 in salaries and an additional $8,000 in benefits. Expenses for unemployment are at $62,000 this year, which is totally an anomaly, but it's also because of the furloughs we did earlier. Those costs are now ramping down, and you should see very little impact going forward, but that's year to date. In the 200 accounts, which are the supplies, and the 300 accounts, which are the services lines, we've underspent in a number of categories, but also overspent compared to 2019. We think most of this is due either to miscellaneous expenses on the main library project or for COVID-related expenses. We've had not only cleaning, but plexiglass and vinyl supplies and all kinds of other things that we're doing. We're doing some hands-free things. So that's all showing up in those lines. The 400s are capital expenses, which include our physical collection, and spending in those lines is down by nearly $325,000, again, mostly because of COVID. So overall, we're underspending 2019 levels by $240,000, which should put us in good shape for the end of the year. I've also included, moving on, I've included an amendment to the MOU we signed with the Drucker Institute and Claremont University earlier this year. They're giving us an additional $50,000 to support marketing and engagement activities in Bendable, so that's good news. You also have copies of letters to appointing authorities since Anne's and Michelle's board terms are expiring in December. As we normally do, both appointing authorities have been notified that there is an appointment coming up. So those are signed and sent off. A little earlier, I mentioned the Boomer Tour. This was a partnership with Venues Parks and Arts to use their mobile stage in 5 parks around the city so we could do some safe programming. And at the same time, we were trying to promote voter registration. So we had the League of Women Voters on hand to encourage registration. And the Excel Center was there to promote their high school diploma completion program. It all culminated with Jim Gill on Saturday doing his program. We had 160 in attendance for that one. It was all outside and everybody was distanced. A quick update about Main Library. Last week, Wayne Street was blocked for the contractor to pull out the sheeting that we needed when the foundations for the annex were going in. And the water service tie-in was also completed in that area. So if you were at Wayne and Michigan Street and found Wayne blocked, that's why. The team is kind of hoping to have a weather-tight annex for the first of the year so they can start masonry work in January. They're working to make up a little bit of lost time on the annex part of the project. And this is also a time of year when the weather can be a little bit iffy. So we're just keeping fingers crossed. And then finally, I want to tell you that Center Township is going to be a polling place in this year's election. And because of the anticipated crowd size, we just decided today, we think we're going to close the branch to the public on election day. The staff will still work inside the facility, but given the crowds that we're anticipating, we're going to try and keep COVID exposure to a minimum for the staff. And so we'll close to the public that day. And that's all I have to report. If you have questions.
Are there any questions or comments with respect to Deb's report? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Harry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Marvin? Marvin, thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay, and I vote aye. Deb, your report is approved. Next order of business is our bill list for October 26th. Nancy, you anything you want to highlight here?
Not much, but I did want to call to your attention on page 4 of 5. We purchased, invested again, 2 more CDs. And you can see that one is a 30-day CD at 0.24%, and the other is a 60-day CD at 0.26. I looked at last year's interest rates, and the average last year was 2.62. So I would just warn you that this year's investment report and the interest that we've earned will not be anywhere near last year, although we're doing what we can.
Sure.
Other than that, the rest of the claims are just routine claims.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding the accounts payable vouchers that are included in the report? If not, is there a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers that are included in our register of accounts as a part of our board packet for today?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, I'll call the roll. Anne,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The bill list is approved. Next order is the personnel changes, which are, I think, actually in our report, in our board packet. Deb, do you want to?
Yeah. You'll see that our manager of community,
Alan, I think we have to accept the.
Oh.
I think we have to accept the gift, don't we?
Oh,
missed that.
yes, I apologize. Deb, you want to tell us about the gift or?
Pete Brosh is a member of our Friends, or was a member of our Friends board. I believe he's termed off now, but he's been a loyal supporter of the library for years. And so this is a gift to our annual fund from Pete.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the gift to our?
So moved.
a
Second.
Any questions or comments? If not, Anne,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The gift for our fund is approved. Now, going back to personnel changes, I apologize.
You'll see that our manager of community engagement has resigned. Erin Lawrence is now the new director of Culver Public Library. So it was a good move for her. It's closer to home. But we believe this is a vital position both for now and as we look forward into the future. And so we kind of want to take the time to redefine the scope and the responsibilities of the job before we move towards searching for a replacement. But we will be doing that. This is a position we want to fill. And I wanted to mention too that the substitute security staff resignations are all due to officers who haven't worked for us in months. So this is more of a cleanup than anything else. We often, at some point in the year, take off inactive staff, and that's what this is.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions regarding the human resource changes since the last meeting? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
I will call the roll. Anne,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Michelle,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Personnel changes are approved. The next order of business is reports of special library board committees, and I'll just note that to my knowledge that we did not have any meetings since our last meeting, so there are no reports to consider. Is there any unfinished business from our last meeting? If not, we'll move into new business. The first order of new business are change orders for the main library project. And we've got 3, 6, I guess there's 8 change orders to consider today. And I don't know, Glenn or who's going to report on
I thought only one of them would be here, but they're all here. And Glenn Pierce is here, and Antonia Winfrey are both here from Blaine Andrews, and Jeff Engelmeyer's here from Arcos.
Yeah.
Rachel, can you share your screen with the cover sheet for the change orders? And would one of you like to walk them through it?
Yes, I'm happy to.
We'll get there. There we are.
There we are.
Okay, so we have one cost from Zolkowski. This cost is $103,000. This is for the pergola change. We had a few changes made, and we were able to seek some value engineering for that cost. We have a cost from Golf Construction. They have two changes associated with this line item. One is for the metal studs on the first floor, and then the other one, that cost is $427. The second cost is $3,457. This is for the annex third floor ceiling changes. There's a couple of areas that we have changed from acoustical ceiling tile to hard ceiling in those locations. So for Golf, it's an overall cost change of $3,884. For Herman and Getz, we have two costs. One for the fire alarm changes. We decided to go with a new fire alarm in these locations for a total of $18,713. And then the second one is a time and material ticket to remove the heat pumps in the renovation space for $557 for an overall cost change of $19,270. We have structural steel services. Structural steel services also has two changes. One for the book lift framing for $2,963. And then the second one is for the annex structural and architectural changes for $3,542 for an overall cost change of $6,505. Keller, these were cleanup items for us when it came to the ERS that was installed on Wayne in Michigan. We asked them to furnish longer sheets, additional 5 feet for $3,080. And then we also removed the taxes from their contract for $491 as a deduct for an overall cost change of $2,589. Indiana Earth, we have one change for them. Well, I think there's 2 changes for Indiana. No, it's just the one. And that is they were the individuals that removed the ERS in this area. They were the least expensive option between them and Keller. So we decided to utilize those guys as well as using the permits that they had in their contract originally. So we didn't have to come up with an additional permit for that area.
That relates, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's the GOP, that's the stable, those were the GOPers that were stabilizing the ground on Wayne Street or along Wayne Street.
That is correct.
Yeah, it was metal sheeting on the north side of the old music village.
So for an overall cost of $22,840 for green demolition, we utilized them for the demo of the elevators. We had 2 elevators for them to demo for an overall cost of $52,000.
Can I jump in a second, Antonia, real quick? So the last 3 items that Antonia was talking about, just to give everyone a little bit of background, that Keller and Indiana Earth, originally we had a price from Keller to take the sheeting out. And Antonia alluded to the fact that we went with Indiana Earth because it was cheaper. It was about a $25,000 savings to use Indiana Earth to pull the sheeting as opposed to use Keller. So that's why you're seeing all these little things popping up. It was originally written into their contract, but we're doing that obviously to bring some value forward. Same thing with this green demo that Antonia is just talking about. The green demo, we're adding more to his demo scope, but in doing so, there was about $150,000 savings to put a new freight elevator into the existing library as opposed to retrofitting the existing elevator. And it was cheaper to use Green Demo to demo the area than it was to have Otis or Schindler do it themselves. So that's just a little background why you're seeing all these different things pop up with these values. Sorry, Antonia.
Worries. Last but not least, we have Mechanical Concepts. They have a cost. This is to remove the heat pumps themselves. This work was performed on time and material for an overall change of $5,854.
Okay. And that was for heat pump. So are there any questions? Go ahead, please, Terry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the Keller North America, is that a typo? The difference between the original bid and the current contract?
No, that's not a typo. That comes from the fact that the work was so much more extensive than we originally thought. And that was early in the project. Jim had reviewed some of that.
Okay,
as well.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nope, it's not a typo.
I just couldn't make the math work. That's.
I'm sure you couldn't.
In other words, through previous change orders, we had increased them to a total
Gotcha.
of 194.
Yes.
Now we're
All
going.
right, so these always go back to the original.
Yes.
Yeah, the original bid.
Gotcha.
Current. Right.
I think it
Gotcha,
started
thanks.
with sheeting, I believe. And then it went into a geo-peer contract that was rolled into it. And then it was the extension of this and removal.
Okay.
That makes sense now, thanks.
I also wanted to mention with the pergola, we had been going back and forth with the pergola a lot and had even talked about eliminating it, but we think it's an essential element to divide that space. But it also includes some decorative screening that is about, I think, 30,000 of that change order. And Rose Meisner at the Community Foundation has secured a donor for the courtyard and has increased the cost to cover that decorative screening. So that's going to be part of the donor contribution.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
A question regarding
Okay.
these changes in general. We're tracking the dollar differential, obviously. Is there also a place where we track impact on completion date?
Yes, Antonia has that up to what I should do. One of the things we should talk about, maybe not with the complete board, but with the team, is what else you all need, because we do have a schedule that where Antonia is tracking the completion date and the delays, and we're about 35 days behind now, which I've been reporting orally, but you haven't seen the sheet. And then the other thing is the impact on the full budget, and we're also tracking that. And we have about 735,000, did I get that right, left in contingency as of current day.
You're correct.
Okay.
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 But let me know if you would, what else you would like to see, because there are pages and pages and pages of
Yeah,
documentation.
I don't think the detail
Okay.
would be that important unless there was some significant shift. But I think a general, as you just said, 35, we just kind of like to know, people ask how it's going and
Sure.
so on and so forth.
We're still saying 35 days out on the general schedule, but I think the next few months are going to be critical on the annex. Glenn and Anthony and Jeff, please jump in if I have misspoken, but weather is going to be a factor going forward, we think.
The big thing that we're doing right now is we have a couple of milestones that we need to hit, which includes, the big one is enclosing the building for winter conditions for the annex space. And that is the driving factor of our schedule. We've been working with our contractors in order to ensure that we'll be able to hit the dates that we have. We've come up with a few solutions in order to make sure that we're able to enclose the space The intention is to have the space enclosed by Christmas for a temporary enclosure in order for us to do work on the interior annex space.
Are there other questions or comments regarding the change orders for the main library project? If not, with your permission, all right, so we've got 8 subcontractors here. And with your permission, why don't I go ahead and I'll just kind of state the general motion, and then somebody can actually so move. So is there a motion to approve the following change orders? First, increasing Zolkowski Construction by $103,000, increasing the Goff's current contract by $3,884, Herman and Getz by $19,270, Structural Seal Services by $6,505, Keller North America increase of $2,589, Indiana Earth, $22,840, Green Demolition, $52,000, and Mechanical Concepts, $5,854. Is there a motion to approve those 8 change orders?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, then I'll call the roll. Ann? Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie? I saw your mouth move. Michelle?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's unanimous. Next order of business, item 9B. Oh, that motion carried, of course. Item 9B is an ordinance, or I'm sorry, a resolution of our library board for appropriations and tax rates for the year ended December 31, 2021. We need to adopt the 2021 budget and levy. We've gone through the process over the last few meetings. So does Nancy or Deb, do you all want to just have any comments regarding the appropriation?
Nancy?
You are seeing the budget that we have reviewed for the last 3 months. Our general operating budget is advertised at $18,072,603. Debt service is $1,725,951. And we are appropriating $5 million in the Library Improvement Reserve Fund for a total adopted budget of $24,798,554.
Okay. And we've also got an adopted tax levy of the $17,667,245.
And a projected tax rate of 39.18 cents. Keep in mind that this could possibly change when DLGF begins reviewing the budget and working it.
Okay. Are there any questions or discussion regarding the proposed budget and library budget and tax levy for 2021?
I have a question. I think probably for Nancy. You mentioned much earlier on that we were going to come up with a significant shortfall in interest rates due to interest rates. How is that affecting any of this?
It is affecting our cash balance. I believe that we have enough in our reserve funds to continue our funding safely for the next 2 to 3 years. But next year will tell the tale of what we receive in in tax funds with the full impact of the circuit breaker. So there are little bits and pieces of income that are being taken away or reduced, and it's having somewhat of an effect, but not, I'm not seeing a huge effect yet.
Not a crisis.
Not a crisis situation. I think we're in good shape for the next few years.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the 2021 library budget and the proposed tax levy as set forth in the resolution that's included in our board packet under 9B?
So moved.
Is there a
second,
Okay, motion made and seconded. We'll now go ahead and call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
aye,
Michelle?
Aye.
Marvin?
aye,
And I vote aye. The budget and tax levy are approved. Next, we have our insurance, our health insurance renewal proposal for the coming year. And we've got two guests with us tonight to discuss it. I don't know, Chip, if you're going to do it, or actually, Deb, do you want to introduce our guests? Maybe I'll let you do that.
Sure. Most of you, or all of you, probably remember Chip Newman, who's been our agent for many, many years, and Tamara Tevlin, both with USI. And I think it's Chip. I think this is the dynamic duo here who are going to do this presentation for the 2021 renewal. So it's yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate spending another year with you again as we go through this process. I sent out, or Tamara sent out to you a little background information, financial background information that we're going to go over today, but we're both here to answer any questions you might have as we go through the program and the renewal. So as you know, January 1 marks the renewal of your group health program, along with all the ancillary benefits, group life and LTD and accident, death and dismemberment, vision and dental. So I just want to recap a little bit of the history of this year in terms of the financials, and it's a lot better than it started out to be. So, but as of the 30th September, the contracted expected claims liability for medical and prescription drugs totaled $781,094. The actual paid claims as of September 30th totaled $512,746, which was terrific. It's projected, though, the annual contractual paid claims for plan year 2020 will be approximately $1.1 million. I don't think it's going to be that high, frankly, but we're projecting out that far. And as of September 30th, you had two claims that exceeded the specific stop loss of $60,000, and the reimbursement for those two claims were $2,148. Prescription drug claims totaled $59,778 as compared with $80,991 last year at the same time. So the prescription drug issue is good. Participant utilization in the PPO network averaged 94.9% in claims utilization. So that's a tremendous number, because that's where the discounts come in. Currently, it appears 2020 will be the 11th year in a row where claims did not exceed the aggregate stop loss, which is your maximum exposure. So that's awful, that's good as well. And you also have what we call the ACP plan, which is an affordable care plan for those participants that are age 65 or over and have a Medicare Part B coverage. The library's plan basically is like the Medicare supplement that we purchase after retiring. And I think it's been phenomenal over the years since we put this in. But the billed claims, incurred claims total 315,729, but paid, that's what you paid, was 64,766. It's a 79% reduction in plan. That's because of the Medicare piece. So it's been highly successful. We have 14 people on the plan at this particular point in time. And I'm proud that we were able to put this in several years ago. It's helped you a great deal. Going forward, the renewal currently, your claims, as we talked about, your annual fixed costs, your annual fixed costs were about $550,000. There's going to be an increase on your fixed cost of about $612,000. And that's due to inflationary trends in medical and RX, for that matter. Your total minimum annual aggregate cost currently is 1.278, and the renewal came in at 1.243, so it's under that bridge. Your maximum exposure is $2 million currently, and it goes to 2.3, but let me just explain the 2.3. You have 3 individuals that have been lasered, and I think one was lasered last year as well. Now, lasering is the underwriter's ability to set aside an additional exposure cost to you over and above the specific stop loss of $60,000. However, if you really look at how the lasers are positioned right now, is generally lasers are after the fact. In other words, the underwriters will charge us in the following year, even though the individuals may be in pretty good shape because they've already had the treatment. So I'm not real concerned about that laser position that you're going to be financially in jeopardy. But you do have one individual in there that is not lasered if, in fact, this person goes back in and has cancer treatment. And there are 2 drugs that in this particular case, there's 2 drugs out there for cancer, Opdivo and Yervoy. They're both extraordinarily expensive, frankly. And they're saying that if the underwriter's saying that if it's just the Opdivo, then the laser position will stay at 0. But if they combine it with this Yervo, the laser goes to $200,000. They're both extraordinarily expensive. Now, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I don't know if in fact these two prescription drugs will impact better to this individual than currently being done. So we're still up in the air with it. I've talked to a number of medical people about it, but I think this person is going to be doing just fine right now. There's not a laser going on, but there will be this person that if treatment resumes. So anyway, the renewal is $60,000, and we talked about maybe increasing it, if you look at down the page a little bit, to 70,000, but there's not a value in it. You're going to increase your exposure $10,000 per belly button in the plan, and your premium only drops a little bit. So I'm recommending that we stay at 60,000, and we stay at Fidelity Security. They came in with the best deal. And if this person doesn't go through the process of additional cancer treatment, your real expected costs go from 1.572 million to 1.606. So you're only talking about a $34,000 potential in exposure. So I think this renewal is very, very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there any questions from Chip and Tamara regarding the proposed health insurance plan for 2021, or any comments? If not, first, let me thank you guys, Chip and Tamara, for all your hard work on this. And we appreciate everything you do for us and have done for us, and especially during this very difficult year. So we
Very
appreciate
difficult.
what you've done.
Yeah.
And then why don't I go ahead and see, is there a motion to approve the recommendations of USI, which are to continue the services of Allied Benefits as the library's benefits administrator, to renew the Fidelity Security $60,000 specific and aggregate stop loss contract, and to approve the Anthem renewal for ancillary coverages, which has an annual total aggregate increase of $481. Is there a motion to do all of that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. I'll call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And did Marvin, you still on?
I'm still here for about another minute. Aye.
And I vote aye. So again, thanks to Chip and Tamara. The insurance, health insurance contract is approved. The renewal is approved.
Thank you
Next,
very much.
we've got our financing agreement between our library and the city of South Bend. This is in conjunction. This basically relates to their portion of their contribution to the library renovation project. They being the city of South Bend, they're issuing bonds to pay for it. So we need to enter into an agreement with the city regarding their taxable economic development TIF bonds. And Deb, do you want to?
Yeah.
So in conjunction with that, we have to approve a financing agreement,
Yeah.
which I'll sign on our behalf, and a copy that's in our board packet. But go ahead, Deb.
Just to give you a little bit of background, you may remember that when we were planning the main library project, we executed an MOU between the library and the city and the community foundation. And at the time, the city anticipated that their contribution of $4 million would be through the sale of TIF bonds in 2022. And up until that time, the foundation would cover the city's contribution. As Alan just mentioned, what has happened is that the city has opted to accelerate that timeline, and they're selling the bonds this week. They plan to close on Wednesday morning. So the agreement, this agreement between the city and the library formalizes the agreement for the dispersal of funds. And then going forward, to obtain those funds, we need to submit proof of payment for the annex part of the project. That's the part that they're helping to underwrite. So we've already done that, just so you know, for expenses to date. So when the bonds are sold on Wednesday, we should get over $2.2 million in direct proceeds for the annex project. But this is the agreement that puts it all into place to get going. And Jim has also looked at this, and he's on the call. I don't know, Jim, if you want to say anything about this. There you are. He's muted.
I usually don't do that. We reviewed the document with bond counsel. Everything is in order for it to be signed by the board.
There's also a signature certificate that we have to execute that did not go in this packet because I got it too late. But it has to be, there is a signature line for the secretary. And since Anne is out of town right now and it needs to be an official signature, Alan, you were going to either appoint a temporary secretary, or the board can authorize a temporary secretary, or another officer of the board can sign that document, which is Christine.
So the question there is now, Deb, I know that you mentioned I need to stop by tomorrow, Keller Park, to actually sign the financing agreement itself originally. Does the person that we appoint as assistant secretary have to come in and sign in person, or is that something they can just do through the electronic process?
We can't do it with DocuSign because they're going to compare the signatures on the different documents. And so it should, best of all possible worlds, it should be in person. And Rachel's got the documents, or we'll have the documents at Keller Park. We just need to have one.
If I appoint you acting secretary, Christine, can you stop by the Keller Park tomorrow? You have to unmute.
Why did I do that? Yes, I can. Would like 12:30 work? Will she be there?
Yep, that's
Rachel?
perfect. If Rachel isn't, somebody will be, and we'll have it ready for you. That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So then
Between 12:30 and 1.
So why don't we do this then? So first of all, I need you all to approve. So is there a motion to approve the financing agreement between the St. Joseph County Public Library and the City of South Bend in the form that
So
was
moved.
included in our board packet? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And also, is there a motion to approve the appointment of Christine as an assistant secretary for the purpose of signing the financing agreement and anything else that needs to be signed in conjunction with this bond issue for the city?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second to that?
Second.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead then, and if you can, just indicate that you're voting aye for both of these resolutions. And we'll go ahead and just see if we can approve both of these right now. Anne?
Aye for both resolutions.
Terry?
Aye.
For both. Okay, Christine?
Aye.
Okay, Augie?
Aye for both.
Okay, I think Marvin's dropped off now, so we'll pass over him. He just isn't here, so we'll pass over him. Michelle, did I say your name?
No, but I vote aye for both.
And I vote aye for both as well. So I believe the motions pass. Busy agenda today. We've also got the Community Foundation lease with the St. Joseph County Public Library for the new, for their space in our new community education center. So I don't know, Deb, if you're going to do this, or Jim, do you want to, either one of you all?
I was going to pretty much turn it over to Jim to walk through it, but I also did want to tell the folks who are here for the project and the USI folks that unless you find this riveting, feel free to drop off this meeting. It's been great to have you, but you don't need to sit through it. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great weekend.
You too. Jim, do you want to take this one?
I can. We sent the revised, or this lease to Rich Hill, who's acting as legal counsel for the Community Foundation. The lease pretty much follows the letter of intent that we entered into December of 2018. And as you recall, in exchange for the $10 million financing commitment or funding commitment from your community foundation, the lease would be for 15 years, essentially at nominal rent, $1 annually. We figured out that $10 million comes out to $81,840 a year for rent. Now, there's one issue that's kind of up in the air, and that is what happens after the 15 years. I suppose we could all say, who cares? How many of us are going to be around here doing this? I hope to be around, but not doing this. So we left that up to be decided as to how many renewals would be and what the rent rate would be. Deborah and I talked about it and thought that the rent rate should be based on whatever the fair market rent rate is for Class A office space in downtown South Bend at that time. And that's what we put in the document. We'll see what they have to say when they come back with us. They're going to pay their share of CAM based on the actual costs for utilities and other operating costs, and based on the square footage of their operating space. Estimated starting time would be when they get possession, which all things go well, which would be this time next year. And there's a couple other issues maybe that have to be worked out, and that has to do with the extent to which there'll be any build outs or other improvements that haven't been agreed upon. And other than that, there really isn't any deviation from the letter of intent that we have. So we'll see what they come back with. I don't anticipate there'll be a lot of wrangling about this. I told him this, when I sent this over to Rich Hill, I told him it was going to be on the agenda tonight, but not that we expected a response from them by tonight. Only it would be on your agenda tonight for your information and discussion. And I expect that by the next meeting, we should have a response from them. Hopefully we can wrap up an agreement before the end of the year. Of course, and if I understand correctly, the Community Foundation wants to have the lease in place so they can then go ahead and start giving funding. But the lease has a provision in it that if we enter into this agreement and the funding doesn't materialize, then the lease is not enforceable. So any questions about any of this?
So Jim, we're not going to approve we should, we've taken a look at it and you've given some general descriptions of it, but we're not actually going to approve it tonight. You just wanted us to be aware that it's going on. And then once they come back with their proposed renewal terms and any other changes, then we'll discuss that and we'll take this up at one of our meetings later this year or early next year.
I think that's proper. There are some areas that still need to be agreed upon to have a final document for your approval anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, without the renewal terms in their particular, for sure. Yeah.
I think Deborah wanted you to see that this was in the works and it was moving along. So that's the purpose of having it on your agenda.
Perfect. So then, well, here, while we're here, are there any questions or specific comments right now that anybody has, or any thoughts that you've got regarding the proposed lease?
And by the way, if anybody has any suggestions after you look through it,
yeah,
I'm open.
Sure. So yeah, why don't we do that? And then if you've got suggestions, why don't you either give Jim a call or give Deb a call or me a call, and I'll pass them on, and we can do that. And but you know, thanks for keeping this moving. It's important to get this buttoned down, and I think that sounds great. So then, if there's no further questions or discussion regarding the proposed community foundation lease, then should we move, just with your permission, shall we move to the next order of business? I don't think we have to have a motion or a resolution there for that. We'll just do that. Okay, great. Then the next order of business does require a vote, and that's there's a proposed public service policy change regarding interlibrary loans. So we're talking about changing our policy with respect to interlibrary loans for I think folks that live outside of our service area. So do you all want to, one of you want to explain that, or Deb, I don't know if it's you or.
Sure.
I apologize that an older version of this policy was in your packets, but Rachel has sent you an update, so I'm hoping you all got that. The intent in both versions is the same. It's just that we thought we needed to have a little bit clearer language than what we started out with. So we think our policy has been a little unclear over the years about whether we fill interlibrary loan requests for patrons all over the county. And we do have some regulars who live outside our district who ask us for interlibrary loans. It's one of the most intensive services we provide. We're happy to be able to do it, but we do think that we should limit ourselves to providing interlibrary loan for people who live within our taxing district. So that's the main change in this policy. And then there's also a reference to section 3.1.3 of the Public Service Policy Manual, which addresses the types of card holders that have access to interlibrary loan. So patrons who purchase a card, if you're purchasing a fee card, that's based on the taxes that you would pay. So you're eligible for interlibrary loan if you have a fee card, or if you have a gold or platinum card, those are also eligible. So it's really clarifying the language that's in there. And we realized we had not done interlibrary loan since the beginning of the pandemic. And as we were getting ready to ramp back up and open that service again, we took a look at the policy, and this is what emerged.
And again, people that are no longer going to be able to get interlibrary loans from our library, those are all folks that if they join the library systems, they've all live in areas.
Yeah.
So they should be able to do it in their home libraries is the idea, right, Deb?
Yes, if per reciprocal borrowing, if you live in Mishawaka, you have to have a Mishawaka card first anyway before you get one of ours. That's our agreement. So they would already have the Mishawaka card. They're choosing to use us instead of Mishawaka, and we're going to kind of send them back to Mishawaka to Donna Meeks already knows about this. Mishawaka is really the largest library that we kind of go back and forth with, but it theoretically could be any library in the county. So it could be New Carlisle or Walkerton as well, but we're not seeing a lot of loans from there, folks.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding the proposed change in the interlibrary loan policy? If not, is there a motion to approve the policy revisions?
So moved.
Second.
The motion made and seconded. Then I'll call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that's approved. Christine, the next order of business is a library board resolution to declare excess withdrawn library materials. Would you like to?
I would like to resolve that materials be sold to Friends of the Library for their book sales for the sum of $1, excluding items selected by library staff for library sales and events. And this includes computer equipment declared as excess.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I'll call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Very good. Other business, is there any other business to come before our library board today? If not, a hearing of visitors. We do have a visitor tonight. I know at least one, John, is here. Would you like to address the board, John? Anything you want to bring up?
Nope, just hello.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We're
Thank
glad
you.
to have you virtually here tonight, and log back in anytime. Very good. If there's no other members of the public, then I'll call that section of the hearing of visitors, that portion of the agenda, closed. And then there were some news and educational items, information in our packet. Deb, do you want to? I know we read through, or I read through those, but are there anything you want to highlight?
Nothing I really want to add. All of our conferences this year, of course, have been virtual, and the Indiana Library Federation conference is coming up in a few weeks, and we're trying to send a bunch of people to that one they've made the prices very attractive, and people can sort of opt in and out as they choose. So that's part of what you're seeing here is just some conference reports.
Okay, very good. All right. If there's no other business, then, so let me first of all mention that our next meeting, our meeting for November will be November 23rd at 4:15. Right now it's scheduled for Keller Park, but if I'm anticipating we'll probably be on Zoom again, assuming that the governor is going to permit us to continue virtually here. I assume it's everybody's preference to, and I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads, to continue to do virtual if we're able to do that. So again, right now it shows that it'll be at Keller Park, but I assume it's going to be virtual. And then before I adjourn, let me just, this meeting, I would ask that all of our board members stay on this call. All of our library staff and our guests should leave the meeting, and then we're going to have an executive session, a closed executive session immediately following the meeting. So if our board members will stay on after we adjourn. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, then all those in favor of adjourning, and I'll just call the roll. Ann?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Christine?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Marvin? Oh, I'm sorry, Marvin's gone. I apologize, and I vote aye. So the meeting is adjourned. Again, thank you, everybody. And then if the board will just stay put. Trish, did you have your hand up? Were you gonna?
No, I was just saying goodbye.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
It's funny how we wave these days.
Thank you.
All right.
Rachel, will you stay on just to make sure everything's set up and they're good to go? Okay, thank you, everybody.
She's given